Hey guys, this is the artist formerly known as Blue Kool-Aid. Yeah, got you over here at Wages World. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and clarify a couple things here just real quick. There was some confusion about my last video. Um, my channel isn't going anywhere, guys. It's going to stay in the same place. Okay? Only thing that's changing is the name. The name and the logos. That's it. My content is in the exact same place as you guys have found it before. It's there, okay? I just want to clarify that because I had a couple, it was a little bit confusing for some, and I can understand that. I'm not deleting my channel. All I'm doing is changing the name and the logo. Also, today is December 4th, 2019. I'm going to try to start saying that at the beginning of every one of my videos. I've tried to do that before, but I keep forgetting. And I understand some of you guys don't watch every day, and that's cool. And you like to get caught up sometimes, and that's awesome. So I'm going to try to start saying that at the beginning of each video. That way those people that don't have the time to watch every day can, at least go back and get some sort of a time frame of when this video was made. Other than just the typical YouTube thing, you get there like 1 month or 1 week or whatever. A lot of times there's not even an exact date. But today, like I said, today's December 4th. Hope you guys like that intro. Go ahead and made up a new one of those. So, also the model updates, guys, at the end. I had to pull down my last video and repost it without the model update. Just because it got blocked in a couple countries because of some of the music I was playing. So I know, and I love doing it too. I love putting some good music there at the end. So I'm kind of kicking around on what to do here. I'll probably, from this point on, it'll either be those typical songs that I usually play anyway, but it might just be instrumental with no lyrics. Or I may just get completely away from that altogether and just choose some music that doesn't have a chance of getting blocked by other countries. Yeah, I know it kind of sucks, but I wish I didn't have to do that, but I really don't have a choice. And then the other choice would be to put, the model update on a completely different video and post it as such and just put some, background music off of whatever site. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there yet. For this video, I'm not going to have a model update just because this intro is taking a little bit longer because I want to explain some things. But, like I said, guys, from this point moving forward, my content is not going to change. It has nothing to do with any of that. My channel is staying exactly where it is. I left the name the same for this video because of the confusion. Now, my next video, when you guys get to it, it will say Wages World. That will be the name of my channel. So that's what I have to do. I really don't have much of a choice there either. So I just wanted to clarify some of that, guys. Believe me, guys, I didn't want to do any of that. I've had this name now for a while, and it kind of has become my identity here, and for me to have to change that really does kind of suck. But here it is. Not much of a choice. So let's get on to the video here. Okay, guys, before we get into any of the other space weather stuff I want to talk about, I was going to talk about these Noctilucent clouds a few videos back, but stuff started happening, so I didn't go into that. So I'm going to go over it now. I do know a little bit about this. I'm not like an expert or any kind of authority when talking about Noctilucent clouds, but I've researched it quite a bit. And what we're seeing here, guys, is an image from the South Pole from a satellite. Okay, there's a few satellites out there that actually that orbit the Earth north to south. If that makes any sense to you? Okay, so they're going from South Pole, North Pole, and around the Earth vertically like that. Instead of, most of us tend to think that the satellites, and most of them actually do, go more horizontal around the Earth in like an orbit. Okay. But there are some satellites that are set in orbit vertically. So just know that. And this is just an image from one of those. Now, you only get these Noctilucent clouds in the summertime of each perspective pole. Okay, what I mean is, if you're in the northern hemisphere, the North Pole during the summertime would see these. Okay, now if you're still in the North Pole, we would be looking at the South Pole in the wintertime to see these. So vice versa would be true for those of you guys that live in the southern hemisphere. Okay, so in other words, like wintertime where I'm at, northern hemisphere, is basically from December, I think it's December 21st is the equinox, and it goes through, you know, obviously for 3 months, and that's it. Summertime is June, so that's when we would see them in the the South Pole. Now, they can be outside of the exact equinox, which they are, because we're not actually into that season equinox yet. So, and this year is even a little bit more different because they're breaking records of as early as they've ever seen these. So what causes these things, right? And what are they, right? I mean, that's the next question. Well, this is what they look like from the ground. Now, you can only see these when the sun's going, shining up below the horizon. In other words, the sun's pretty much already set, but there's still some residual light coming up around the horizon. All right? And what you're seeing is it's reflecting off these ice crystals. That's their theory, anyway, of what we see here. These things are very, very, very high up. If I remember correctly, they're like at 80,000 kilometers, I think. If that's the, I think that's what they are, up that high. So we'll go over here and it'll tell us here, I think. Let's see here. Low temperatures, water vapor, and crystal growth nuclei is what it takes to get these. So you need low temperatures and water vapor, obviously. So how does that vapor get up there? How would you think vapor gets up there? Well, what happens is the ocean water, at least this is what they theorize, the ocean water, the warmer ocean water starts going down towards the South Pole. The temperature difference happens, and that's when you get these water vapors that get up there. And that's one of the theories. Now, you also have to have a nuclei for these crystals to form around. So that means there has to be a particle up there also. So what that means is, and what they think is, they think it's like meteor dust that's still in our atmosphere around the poles, and the crystals form around that, and that's what we see. They also say that it can be volcanic ash. It can be any of that kind of thing. We have seen an uptick in volcanoes, so that would make sense also. But the bottom line is they don't know exactly. So, and there's going to, wherever you go look and see this information on this stuff, you're going to see different answers. But they're cool to talk about. But one thing everybody can agree on, these things are showing up earlier than what they ever have. So there has to be a reason for that. And that's why I'm talking about it. So, but just know, guys, I mean, that's what they look like. Pretty cool stuff, I think. Thought I'd bring that to you real quick. Okay, guys, I got you over here at Space Weather Prediction Center. I'm just going to say this right now. You see this solar wind speed? That's pretty low, guys. We don't typically have solar wind speed that low. If it gets below 300, that's not good. What I mean by that is typically our geomagnetic activity, which is right down here, stays low when that happens, usually. Sometimes you get higher dense material moving real slow, and that can still raise geomagnetic activity. But for what we're talking about right now, if you guys look right here, look, it's in the basement, like I've talked about before. Now, this has been a very extended period of time of low geomagnetic activity. And I have to hammer home this point. That is not good. We need some of this activity from the sun. We need to be normal is what we're talking about. Ambient conditions. When we don't see it and we get low, okay, if it goes low for a minute, so what, right? But this was 36 hours. That's I don't know that I've ever seen us be at zero for 36 hours. So why is that important? Well, what it does is it allows more cosmic rays to get through. Okay? The sun doesn't block all the cosmic rays, guys. Okay? Especially when it's in a minimum. or in a sleeping period is what I'm calling it for right now. It isn't a minimum, but I'm not going to call it a grand minimum yet because we just don't know that yet. It does look as though we might slip into that, but we may not yet. But anyway, when the sun is in a weakened state like it is right now, or asleep, however you want to say, more cosmic rays get through than what is normal. And we can't fight it off all the way either. So when the sun's weak magnetic field, our magnetic field's weak. So both of us are weak at the same time, so it allows more cosmic rays to get through. Why is that important? Well, because cosmic rays, I went through this on some videos before, you guys got to understand that those things can make you sick. They turn into muons, basically, is what affects the actual human body part of it. And it affects you at a molecular level. Okay? Now, granted, we would have to have, our skin can actually defend most of this. Okay? But when we get massive amounts of them, that is not the case. These things can make people sick. They actually issue warnings for pilots and crew and prenatal passengers that are flying in higher latitudes, which means up towards the poles. They issue warnings for them. Hey guys, don't fly so much right now. And they actually limit their pilots and the cabin crew when this stuff is going on. So this is important to all of us. And that's why I talk about it. So when we get these cosmic ray bursts that we see, that we can actually see, just because we don't see a cosmic ray burst does not mean that we're still not getting cosmic rays. All right? That's what I have to say there. Because we are. They don't stop coming. Okay? If you think about space in general, it surrounds all of us, right? I mean, so it's coming in all directions. Whether we're able to block it off, that's the biggest thing. And we know that we're weakened. Okay? At least 15 to 20%. Our magnetic field is weakened. They've come out and said that the sun's magnetic field is weakened just because of the minimum. So let's, pay attention to this a little bit. And that's why I bring this up, because this is important. Now, we will go on to this, but see, and we see this, right? And we go over here and we look over here at the side at our chart and what we're seeing here. 2 to 350. That's the actual graph. I can't tell you the last time I've seen it like that. Usually it's like 250 or 300 to 500. That's usually about what that sits at. So the highest that we're going to see on here is the 350. Okay, that's the speed. That's the velocity. Now the density's in orange. And you can see how it jumped up there for a minute. We did get a couple little jolts and stuff. There's the phi angle that I talk about sometimes, which is what actually jumped around right before those earthquakes. Now this right here is something we're going to have to watch. Okay? And this is why I'm bringing even this model into it right now. What you're looking at here, just so we know, and I'm not going to set this into motion yet because I want you guys to be able to see what's happening. This is the density. Okay, the green line represents where Earth is. That will be the conditions of Earth. This thing sees 2 days behind from current time. All right, so we know what happened 2 days before. So what we see here should be the accurate plot point from us, which we're basically right here. Okay, this way is historic. So that is exactly what we should have seen. Okay. Now, it tries to predict 5 days in advance. Just like a weather model, like I've said probably 100 times already on my channel. Sorry if I'm repeating myself to some of you guys, but it's like a weather channel local on the 8s. I mean, you can go look at it right now, and then in an hour, they'll change it. I mean, that's what happens. They have to keep changing their models because conditions change. It's not a perfect system. If it was, we would know exactly what was going to happen every time. And we don't. So that's the condition of Earth. The plasma density doesn't look like anything, right? I mean, 5 or below, that's really not that high. So we go over here and we look at the spiral graph. And when you're looking at these spiral graphs, guys, obviously that's the sun. But these aren't planets over here. Okay? The red one here is stereo A. And the blue one over here is stereo B, which just take that completely out of your mind because we're not even going to talk about that right now. We don't get any data from it. At least we're not allowed to see it. Just put it to you that way. Stereo A, I show you guys a lot. Okay? That's the satellite out there. It's always looking at the side of the sun. Okay? It's in an orbit very similar to Earth around the sun. But it always looks at the sun, the direction of the sun. So, but Earth is right here, represented by the green dot. Okay? And that's true on both of these spirographs I'm getting ready to show you. Now you see this right here. Now obviously when we see the reds and the oranges, we're like, yeah, that's not normal. We shouldn't be seeing that. Well, you would be correct. Because we should not. This is not something that is, well, it's not abnormal, but this is definitely going to be elevated conditions. So we're going to zoom in here and watch this. Okay, you're going to see this wave hit Earth. Okay, you see that? Now, this particular spirograph is showing you velocity. So this is solar wind speed. And according to this, obviously, they're saying this is coming from the sun, obviously, because that's what this model does. So something had to happen on the sun. They've seen something, they've gotten data, whatever. They're saying now, if you look at this, oops, here's the graph. Okay, first thing I want you guys to understand is look at the numbers they're using. It's been a while since I've seen them use it this high. 3 to 700. Number one, that's a 400 kilometers per second difference. Number two, I've not seen them use 700 there for months. Okay, the highest I've seen it was 600. So they're expecting this to be up towards 700 between the 8th and 9th. Now this can change, okay, like I just said. It could get better or it could get worse, depending on the conditions of what they see. Now this red light, guys, that's where stereo A is. It's telling you the conditions of where stereo A is. So I just wanted to point this out because they're expecting us to get this high velocity wind between the 8th and 9th. Now whether that actually comes to fruition, don't know. We have to wait and see. But just judging by this one spirograph right here, look at this. I mean, we start getting increased winds right there. It doesn't stop. And then it really gets into some pretty intense stuff. And it doesn't, and according to this spirograph, if you watch it, we're going to be experiencing conditions longer than what this is showing. Okay, because it can't go out any further. So if this graph is correct in what it's forecasting, we're going to have a very lengthy time of high solar wind. And it's going to start, well, today is like I said, today's the 4th, getting ready to be the 5th UTC. So, actually, here in the next 12 hours, they're saying we should start seeing a small increase, and then, then it just goes on up. But obviously, it can't tell you when this is going to end. Well, what's causing this, right? Right now, we're looking at this, and it's coming from the sun. Well, let me show you. Okay, guys, this is the SDO. This is the 171. Now, if you remember what I just showed you guys, keep in mind that it came from this direction. Okay? And what you're going to see here is very, very interesting. All right? It looks as though an object came through the sun's corona. Okay? And I'll explain here in just a second. But this is definitely what it's looking like. Scott did a video on this, and he explained it really, really well. Okay? So I'm going to point you guys over there to go watch his explanation of this. But I'm going to show it to you right here. And I have a little bit more data here than what he had yesterday, obviously, because we got 24 hours of data there. But I want you guys to watch right in here. And what you're going to see is you're actually going to see the sun react to something. It's going to pull basically the plasma, I'm just going to use that word, back that direction. And then you're going to see it shuffle on off. Go back the opposite direction, and you're going to see it get pulled that way. Okay? It's pretty crazy looking. And also, it just, when we see these things, yes, this is plasma getting pulled off of the sun. Whether their filaments are getting pulled by our object, it doesn't matter. Okay, it does matter in the sense that that's an object, but what I'm saying is my point here, right, and what I'm talking about right here is, this is going to cause issues. This is where we see reactions. And by the way, remember the hit on the magnetosphere I showed you guys yesterday? That happened at the exact time that this thing came through the corona right here. Okay? And the phi angle, which is what I talk about sometimes, changed. It flipped polarity. Okay? When that happens, we got a jerk, and then we got them freaking earthquakes yesterday. Okay? So this actually could be a direct result, or the earthquake could be a direct result of what we see right here. Very well could be. Okay? Obviously, I can't tie it all together like that right now. Scott did an awesome job on that video yesterday, and he can explain it way better than I can. So, guys, go over and watch his video. But I'm gonna show. I'll leave a link. But I'll show you this right here real quick. Again, keep watching right here. I'm just gonna push play, and we're gonna watch it. Okay, you can see it dancing around right there. And here it goes. Okay, it's going to go up. See how it went almost in a circular thing? Look, watch that. And then watch the other way. Watch what it does. This is crazy. I mean, it's just nuts what that did right there. Okay? Now, that was the second. Okay? That was the second one going back the other way. I'm going to show you the first. All right? So, let me pause for a second. Okay, guys, what you're going to see, I'm just going to leave this playing at full speed because this is intense, okay? Watch it. Watch this, okay? You're going to see, flip off, watch this. Back this way, and then watch. Wham, okay? Did you guys see how circular that was, spherical, okay? That's what I want to point out here. See that? And then it reacts again. Wham! Look at that. I mean, that is wow. Okay. I just wanted to show you guys that because that is, and like I said, I'll leave a link to Scott's video. He explains it way better than I can. But you can see these. That's a big reaction over here, guys. That is not something small. Now, was it Earth directed? No. You've seen how it spiraled into us. If that was fired right at us, we would know, like, now. It wouldn't take that long to get here. It would take 1 to 3 days for a filament of that size to really probably get here. It'd be a CME is basically what that is, guys. Okay? But it's not a true CME because it's being caused by this object, by our object that we're talking about here. Now, this is not, again, go watch Scott's video. This is not the 28-day orbit thing that we talk about. Okay, this is outside of this. And I have to stress this. I've said this before. There's not just one object. This is something this is a system of things. This is more than one object. Okay? So it makes sense that we would start seeing these things happen more often in different spots. Okay? And I say that just because we've said that since the beginning. We actually have these objects kind of close to each other in a couple captures. I can't remember exactly what month it was. It's been a few months back. But we don't know the exact position of these things. We just don't. Okay? Now, the one that we've tracked down to the 28-day orbit, yes, we get pretty close with that. But we don't have the ability to have the data that they have. Okay? They know. So why do they shut the tools off at specific given times that we can look at you guys and say, hey, we're either going to have a reaction from the sun and a spotting of what we're talking about here, a capture of our object, or they're going to shut the tool off. And what happens? Every time for the past at least 6 months, one of the two has happened. We've either caught something happening right there, or they've shut the stinking tool off. So that's what's been going on. Now, I show you guys this just because, and, it is what it is. Okay, guys, this is seeds, okay? Look at this. All right, what am we looking at? Well, you got gray boxes right here. What that means is there's no data there. They stopped this on the 30th. And this has been happening a lot, especially with this tool. And this was never a problem in the past. Okay? So when what's happening is, if you look at the date on that, 12/1, okay, that filament that I just showed you guys that was reacting to our object, and as it passed through, and then another reaction went the opposite direction, that started about when they shut this tool off. Okay? You know, and again, they're getting data that we're not seeing, and I do think that they're starting to shut this stuff off so we can't see as much. Now, they can't shut it off. What people's asking me, why don't they just shut it off anyway? Well, the reason why is because if they did that, if all the tools went down, they would have to give everybody some sort of an explanation. So what they do is they just kill these for 3 or 4 days, and most people just write it off as, well, whatever. No, it's not just whatever. When it's done in a time frame, in a specific time frame, when we tell you guys that it's going to be shut down, and it happens, that ought to tell people something, that something's going on, and we need to be able to see that data, and we're not being able to. And again, you know, when they upload the stuff back, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You know, they have to put something out there, but who knows, man? I mean, I don't know when it comes to that. It's such a hard subject to wrap your brain around, whether or not we're seeing what we're seeing or we're not seeing what we're seeing, and all that, all the above. But I do think that they, at the very least, they're shutting these things off in specific areas of time because they know something's going to be seen. Now, I say shutting them off. What I mean by shutting them off is they're not releasing it to us. They have it. But I just wanted to point that out, guys. You know, we can go look at stereo A. It's there. It doesn't show as much. It's real grainy. It's further away, so we don't see as much here. Also, guys, this little blip here, don't worry about that. That's just a camera flaw there. Also, this object you're seeing transient across there, that's Mercury. Okay. You can, matter of fact, I'll show you guys how you guys can know that. Hold on a minute. Guys, this is Solar System Scope, okay? Anybody can download this. This is a free thing, okay? I need to shut the sound off on that. Hold on a minute. Okay, anyway, what this thing does, guys, you can zoom right in to wherever you need to be. Now, we have to keep in mind that stereo A is over here. Okay? And so that's where we need to go look from that point of view. So that's what we're going to do. Oops. And it does come with ads unless you want to pay their money, but... Okay, so you can spin it around. Okay? Now, we're going to back out a little bit. It's three-dimensional. It does take some getting used to be able to use this. Because when you're flipping it around, you can get kind of lost if you're way out in space. But what we're seeing here, there's Earth, so we want to go around this way. Okay, from stereo A. Stereo A is there. What's right across there? That's Mars. Okay, stereo A is sitting about here. So we've seen it come. It came into view about right over. Well, it would be about right over here, and we've seen it transient across. You're going to see it go all the way across. So that's what that is, okay, guys? And if you look at, like, LASCO from Soho, Soho is sitting basically right about here, okay? Kind of closer to the Earth is what I'm saying. But it's sitting there, and it's always looking at the sun, kind of at this angle. So it's also going to see Mars, but you're going to see it come in at a different angle. So it's all about the perspective you're sitting at. But I wanted to show you guys this. Anybody can download this to your phone. You can get a PC version. It's free. So, I mean, look at this, guys. I mean, you can go out. You can change all the settings. I mean, it's really cool. And again, there's lots of other ones like Stellarium and all that stuff. But this one was really quick. Doesn't take up any memory. And again, you can use the slide bar over here too. And it's always centered on the sun. Okay? But you can change that setting even. So, just to let you guys know. But, I am going to end the video here, guys. I'm just going quite a bit. We're going about 25-minute video here, 30 minutes. But, just know, guys, that's what's going on. I'll come back at you tomorrow with some more information, some more stuff on what's going on with the the stuff coming off the sun and what was happening there and all that kind of a thing. And but yeah, guys, just stay awake, stay watching. My stuff is still going to be right here. It's just changing names. Wages World is the name of the channel now. None of that stuff's changing. Okay, guys. My videos, none of my content's going to be changing. All the videos are still there. All you're going to notice is the name change in the spot when you go look. It's just not going to say Blue Kool-Aid, oh yeah, anymore. It'll say Wages World. But with that being said, you know, like I said before, God bless. Yeshua saves. And, yeah, this is Wages World, where truth is sought and no fear lives. So, anyway, God bless.